What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. This is the video I promised you guys yesterday. I apologize about that. Got a bunch of stuff going on, like I always say, and I always do. You know, I keep my life busy and full of stuff, and so it is what it is. Here it is today. Now, you might hear some background noises going on. That's my little man and my wife chilling over here listening to this one. Now, I had a one-to-one. It's still an active one-to-one with a brother who's going through, a brother in Islam. He's got multiple wives. He's going through some issues with his wife. And turns out the woman, after talking to him and whatnot, the woman had some emotional stress and distress. She went through a lot of stressful situations prior to marriage. Now, what I'm about to say is a generalization. Specifics, yes, there can be exceptions to this rule, but what the rule I'm about to give you is a general rule that you can use in terms of vetting women. And it's something that's universal for women of any age. As we know from Rollis Massey's book, you know, women at different ages have different needs, and therefore you need to vet for different things at different times and different ages of women. But this right here is a general rule that universally applies to women at all ages. And that is, and stick with the analogy here, please. Don't go off with some crazy, goofy stuff, because I got haters who watch my channel just to look for stuff. And say, oh, Abuamerican said, that's so stupid. Just stick with the analogy and keep it simple. The KISS principle. Keep it simple and stupid, okay? So I'm keeping it simple and stupid. Here's the analogy. Women are like skin. That's right, homie. Women are like skin. Men are like muscle. What does this mean in terms of women in vetting? Skin needs to be protected from the environment and from the elements. If not, it gets damaged. You can get skin cancer, you can get scars, whatever else, and over time it becomes ugly. This, in general, is the description of women. Women need to be protected from the elements and the environments, aka stress, problems, whatever else. And that's when women are most beautiful. That's when they're the most relaxed. That's when they're the most feminine. That's when they're literally at their best. Men are the opposite. Men need to be exposed to adversity so that they can grow, because they're like muscle. And as we know, resistance training, muscle, aka lifting weights, causes micro tears in the muscle, which causes it to grow back stronger, which causes the muscle to grow. An untested man is like a muscle that's untrained. It's weak when it needs to be strong. Maybe you don't need it to be strong for the first 5 years of your life, but one day when you need it, it's not ready to work. And that's men. They need to be tested for adversity. They need to be put through adversity, and they need to come out on the other side resiliently. This is unnegotiable. You have to be like this as a man. This is why women congruence test men, because they know they need sunblock. That's you, the man, the muscle. You need to be there to protect them from adversity. And so they test you with it to see how you're going to respond. Is he that guy that can protect me? This is the core of the congruence test. You need to protect her, and she knows she needs to be protected. So in terms of vetting, now, how does this tie in with the one-to-one and the brother? The brother is married, and he married her with the idea of a man looking at a woman. She went through adversity. Oh, wow, that's impressive. She came out on the other side still kicking strong. But that's a bad way to view things, because you don't want a woman who's gone through a bunch of adversity. Had he asked me prior to marrying her, I would have said, that's a massive red flag. You need to really test her and put her under stress before you marry her to see how she responds. And this is something that I do. Any woman who has married me or is married to me will tell you that I've put them under like high stress before I married them, and even after marrying them. I really push to see what her response is going to be early on in a relationship, because that's going to be a good sign of how she responds, what she's been through, and who the real her is. Basically, I have reverse congruence test women. I reverse shit test women. It works, and you should do it. You know I'm right, though. Tell me I ain't put you through the ringer.
Yeah.
There you go.
And cry, cry, cry.
Yeah, but look at you. You're happy, though, ain't you?
Yeah.
You happy, though, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, or are you saying we should send you back to your ex?
Nah, shut up!
Okay, so anyway, proof. I got multiple women who can say that this is true. And I've got some other women I'm betting right now. I do the same thing. I test them to see how they respond. This is how a woman, no matter how beautiful she is, gets cut from the roster list. Now, in terms of his brother and his one-to-one, I would have told him not to marry the woman in the first place. But now he's married, and so now I'm just working with him. How do we fix the situation? And he's dealing with a situation where the woman is constantly congruence testing him, you know, because she wants to feel safe, despite all the damage and the harm she's been through. And it's questionable as to whether or not, you know, that's going to be possible, because I don't know. He said she went through some pretty serious stuff. And those scars, they're now visible to him. You know, they're not visible scars. When I say women are like skin, they're not visible, you know, in terms of like, you know, she's got slash marks on her face, but she's got slash marks on her personality and her soul and how she expresses herself to him. And that's something that's permanent, those scars, you know? With men, we're different. Again, like muscle, you know, if you stop going through adversity, you start to shrivel up, you get comfortable, whatever else, and you can actually lose all that confidence, strength that you gained up over time. Those scars with women are permanent. This is part of the entire body count mentality. And it's correct. The more men that a woman sleeps with, I'm going a little bit off topic here, but all those men, you can't unscrew all those dicks. And all that emotional, you know, damage and whatever else it took to take all that meat, it stays with her, you know? But men, we don't go through this type of stuff because we're different. So anyway, guys, use this as a vetting process when you're looking at women. Find out if she's been through like high stress situations over a prolonged period of time, you know, and check how she responds to high stress situations, because a relationship over time is going to be high stress. There's no way. It's unavoidable. Don't let anybody tell you, you know, because we got a lot of Twitter guys out there, you know, they're like, oh, my relationship is so great, blah, blah, blah. No, it's amazing. It's BS. We're human beings. You know, we're sovereign individuals. And anybody who's acting like it's 100% good all of the time, they're a liar. There's going to be high stress situations, and it's going to be more than once a year because you're two sovereign individuals in one household or in one relationship. It's impossible not to be. But it's how each individual responds in those relationships, you know, is what makes or breaks things at the end of the day. So guys, use this as a tool for vetting, you know, and an understanding on when you're looking at women. And women use this as a tool also. Women, this is a bone for the women. Look, if a guy hasn't gone through adversity, what's going to happen when it finally pops up? You know, let's say you get a non-money Twitter guy, and he loses his job, and he starts stressing, flipping out. He doesn't know what to do. What are you going to do? He's going to go in the basement, start smoking weed or something. You know what I'm saying? Go lose himself in video games, or he's going to knuckle up, you know, and buckle down and get to work and do the hard work that's necessary to make sure that the rent and whatnot is paid for. And we're talking about Muslims here because Muslims, it's a requirement for the Muslim man to take care of the Muslim woman, you know. So what are you going to do if you're together with a guy who's, you know, untried and untested, you know? When the time comes to lift up that weight and that guy is an untrained muscle, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to crack. He's going to split. He's going to be sore. Oh, I don't want to do it anymore. It hurts.
Yeah, he's going to be clown.
Yeah, he's going to be weak and he's going to be pathetic. So guys, get out there. Expose yourself to stuff that you're uncomfortable with and fail. You know? It's going to make you better. And women, make sure you get yourself under a man. If your dad isn't that man to protect you from adversity and hardships, then get you a man who will, you know? Because if you're watching this, then you're in that age where you can actually go out and do that as a woman. Because there ain't no teens or little kids watching my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure of that, you know? So anyway, guys, this is the video I wanted to launch. Okay, go ahead.
So, what do you mean by emotional trauma? I mean, what type of emotional trauma that we need to avoid?
Well, I mean,
it's life though. We have trauma, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, of course, it's life, and you're always going to deal with some sort of stressful situation. But in general, women need to be protected from it. Look, here's the thing. Women generally don't like to take responsibility or accountability for anything. And there's a reason for that. And that's because they're not accustomed to, nor do they desire to be in high stress situations. So when I say like what sort of like stress, multiple bad relationships back to back, high stress situations like careers that are very stressful that cause her to be out of the house doing stuff that's, you know, outside of her biology, to where she's like constantly under stress. All that stuff causes damage to women because they're not really designed for it.
But I think it makes us mature, no?
No, that doesn't make women mature. It damages women. Men are made, women are born. You see, a man has to be made. This is why so many cultures have rites of passages to man. A man has to go out and he has to hunt or kill something or kill a wolf or a deer or whatever in order to be considered a man. He has to go through some sort of trial or adversity to be considered a man. There is no such rites of passage in general. There are some in some societies for a woman to be considered a woman. But in general, a man has to prove his reproductive fitness in order to be considered a man, to where he can actually be, you know, ranked amongst men. Otherwise, he's still considered one of the youth.
I mean, give me an example what kind of trauma that caused damage to
Le-
us. Like,
multiple
cut
bad,
career, I don't
let's
know,
say
career.
multiple bad relationships back to back.
Yeah,
Now, generally, we know from Islam, I'd say prior to Islam we didn't know this, but because of Islam we know that the man is a mahram, he's a protector to the women, right? And what does he do? He protects his daughters and his women folk, his aunts, whatever else, who don't have men to protect them. He protects them. He has the absolute authority and responsibility to guard them from haram, impermissible relationships and get those women married, right? It's his obligation to get those women married.
Yes.
So this is how you protect women from that type of damage from bad relationships. That's just one example, you know? So that's an example.
I mean, how bad is bad? Because after after one relationship to another relationship, we always tend to, you know, he is bad, he was bad.
But this goes back into what I was saying. Women don't take responsibility and accountability.
Yeah.
Be they Muslim or not. I've only seen like one woman out of maybe 100 who said that the relationship went bad because of me. But when you look at the situation, look, this brother that I'm doing the one-to-one with, I know this brother. I've known him for over a decade, easily. Mm-hmm. I knew him when I became Muslim. So I've been a Muslim over 2 decades now, almost 2 decades. I've known him since then. Mm-hmm. I know this guy, he's nice, he's easy, he's relaxed. There's no way this is a bad guy. Mm-hmm. But when the relationship goes bad, what do you think she's going to say?
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy, this. And I can tell you without a doubt. I actually told him, stop being a nice guy, you know? Because I know he's a nice guy. Love him to death, but he's like a teddy bear. He's a huge, big teddy bear. Big, muscular teddy bear. He doesn't know how to put on the proper jerk game in order to keep her attracted, you know?
Not like you.
And yeah, exactly. Not like me.
Yeah, I understand that. But I just thinking that trauma or whatever that we've been through is the one that shaped us like this, like
it can shape you, yes. Like I said, there are some exceptions, but generally it's not good for women. It can express itself multiple ways. Sometimes it can express itself in a good way. Like I consider daddy issue women a good thing, because when she gets into a relationship with a guy who actually knows, see, you laughing over there.
That issue.
Girl, you, mashallah, I don't know what you got. You so special. But anyway.
I started calling daddy.
But look, here, the thing is, those women, if they get in a relationship with the right kind of guy, it's good for them. Because he's going to be a masculine guy who protects them. And that's really, at its core, what she's looking for.
That's what I meant. I mean, that's I agree with. Mm-hmm. So.
I need this lighting here.
Yeah, so I just thinking what kind of emotional trauma that is damaged.
But in general, it's not good for women to be exposed to that stuff. A woman is at her best when she's at home being a woman.
Yeah.
Why a woman out in the career world? I've not met a career woman that isn't just a complete like, ugh, you want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, probably she doesn't meet the right guy.
Because that brings me back to my point.
I think being submissive is natural.
Yeah, but that brings me back to my point. Okay, she hasn't met the right guy. What is the right guy anyway? But anyway, look, coming back to my point, she shouldn't be out there, and it causes problems over time for her. That she has, the longer she's out there in the world, the more difficult it becomes for her to meet the right guy. Yeah, of course. Because she's unshielded. She's out in the world without sunblock. Since I used the skin comparison.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, still thinking that, I mean, based on my experience in my life, that trauma or whatever I've been through is the one that shaped me today.
Indeed. Again, trauma is unavoidable. We're people in the world. But it can be reduced. Women can, of course, deal with trauma. They're human beings. They're intelligent. They have intelligence. They need to have the faculties and capacity to deal with trauma and stresses. But they should be protected from it as much as possible, just like your skin. This is what I'm saying. You got minor scars and major scars. Minor ones teach you lessons. You touch an oven and you find out it's hot.
Yes.
But you don't burn yourself. You don't get a 3rd degree burn usually, you know, unless you're a dumb kid and you're like... and then you got a permanent scar. It usually doesn't take that much for most kids. But they feel the heat, they get burned a little bit, doesn't leave a scar, or it leaves a very light one. They've learned and they've developed. This is what you're talking about. I'm talking about someone getting 3rd degree burns.
Oh.
We need to protect the child from third-degree burns.
Yeah.
You know.
So the third-degree emotion trauma.
Yes, exactly. That's avoidable generally. You know, barring some extreme situation.
Of course.
That's avoidable, and that's what men are there for.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I used the comparison. Maybe I should have been more specific.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
So we clear?
Yes, the third-degree emotional trauma.
Okay. So otherwise, I'm gonna kill this.
Okay, killed it.
You sure?
Sure.
All right.
Yay.
Cause I got theories and stuff and comparisons for days. Mamacita Conchita.
Okay, kill it.
Mi tesoro. All right, I'm out.
Who wants to fight? Aha. I'm only taking the brave. I'm not taking the scary. I'm not taking no girls. Are you ready to fight? Yes.